Assalamu alaikum, good evening, and welcome to tonight's episode of Talking Point. I'm your host, Syed Neaz Ahmad. In our studios today, we have a gentleman who is an educationist, an intellectual, and a commentator, Syed Mamnun Murshid. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
I'm very well. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be upon the viewers, and good evening to you as well.
Thank you. That peace is what we need in this world today, isn't it?
It's far lacking, you see, whether it's a state of mind, whether it's direct anarchy, or variety of things, but I don't think peace is very easily attainable.
Do you think about the peace inside the philosophical peace, or you're talking about the peace like across the borders?
I think both
inner peace
and across the borders tantamounts to the same thing, really. It's a question of how spiritual a person you are.
Right.
Ultimately, it's a question in your quest for peace is how you attain peace within yourself, and then how you are able to extend it beyond boundaries.
Right. See, what I intended was something else, but now we have gone on to something. You know, there are a lot of people who are tradesmen of peace, you see, like these, the creators of cults, the Sai Baba, somebody who becomes an evangelist, owns a television channel, you see, and then they go on preaching peace, see. But, excuse me, but finally what happens is, most of them, they have ended up, all these things they have ended up in tragedies. Hundreds of people die, and
yes, it's very unfortunate, because you see, remember, is sort of peace for a human being is your inner presence in something which you try and achieve with the Maker, Allah, as we call it, and God, what we refer to in English.
the Creator.
The Creator. The important thing is to achieve that peace, you may have someone to intercede for you.
Right.
And this interceding matter is a part of peace, a part of harmony, a part of bringing all societies and cultures together.
Are you talking about appointing a guru or following a particular school of thought?
Well, Sufism is one, you see, which is very broad church. I think the broadest church in Islam is Sufism. You think of people like Imam Ghazali. You think of Sheikh Abdul Qadir of Baghdad. You think of the Panjatan, the Imams, and phases that come in. Our Prophet was the Khatam al-Nabi, the final Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was the last Prophet, but after him came the Imamat. After that came another stage, and so on and so forth. But all these people were there to bring peace to the world. They didn't have three things they lacked. Was power, like sitting in a crown.
Right.
They didn't have propaganda machines to propagate things, which a lot of others did. And lastly, they didn't believe in a Takht-e-Jamshedi.
Again the power.
Power in a different way.
Right.
And neither did they have what we call in Urdu khwahish for the Sultanate.
The desire to do that.
You see? So this was they didn't have the desire to sort of come into planes such as this.
But the modern thought is that you can't bring in change unless you have the power.
Partially true, but you know, you can bring in social change. You can try and give people peace.
Right.
You see? And how do you pass it? By having peace and spreading peace is again such a broad thing. And one thing we have to realize, that life is short.
Right.
Whether all this is worth it, and so on and so forth. And we don't seem to act with caution. Some point when power is there, caution is broken, and we feel it's
We're
a kind
going
of
to be there for...
and we'll be there forever.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen. Well, some people feel, well, I am continuing. How are you continuing?
Yeah, but that is why the terminology has been coined like president for life.
President for life depends on sort of societies which are not so open. We live in Britain, where it's more of an open society. I won't say 100% open, but the facade certainly is there.
Yes.
And the principles are there as such.
Well, I had the privilege of meeting one of the President for Life, President Idi Amin Dada, at Jeddah Airport. He was seeing off, I think, one of the evangelists that had come over to attend a conference somewhere. And I asked him, but he wouldn't answer. I said, you are no more President for Life, you see, and your life is rather difficult here, staying away from all the pomp and grandeur, and you're in exile. But he wouldn't answer. Anyway, that was just a passing remark. President for life, President for, or Prime Minister for life. A lot of things people take for granted, but it doesn't happen. It doesn't continue for long. Peace to be achieved in this world, one has to give up a few things, isn't it? See, first is your own ego.
Yes.
That is a must. See, the desire to possess things. See.
Yes.
The worldly riches.
Material things, basically. Yes. You know, material things you're always dreaming of.
Right. We'll come to this question of peace, which is right now a very thorny subject between two great countries that we love and sometimes hate to love and love to hate, India and Pakistan. See. But nearer home, Brexit is breaking the back of so many politicians. See. As I was driving to the studio, I just heard that the government has to pay 30 million, has paid 30 million to the Eurotunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And again, some more money, like 150 million, has to be paid because they had appointed organizations to provide probation facilities that are, those organizations are not properly qualified for that. So 200 million
I saw it. I saw the heading in the Evening Standard while waiting for you in Mile End.
Right.
About Chris Grayling and things like that. Well, you know, it's very unfortunate, but when we look into Brexit itself, it's such a divided nation. Now, let's start with the leavers, not the remainers,
right,
which caused the Brexit. I feel I have to agree with Donald Tusk's very strong statement that politicians must take the burden for doing something without any planning. And I fear this is what has happened in the Conservative government. I'm told by figures, political observers, which I watched in BBC and Sky, there were initially about 150 MPs out of 650 or 640 that were the ones who were in the Remain camp. This now is less than 100. In the Leave camp, beg your pardon. Less than 100. If you want to leave, you have to leave. But today you sit in Britain, there isn't a product that you will find in the supermarkets or others without having something European in it.
True.
It's become a part of, of the things one needs to live in this country. But where Britain is concerned, what is sad is they were in many ways outsiders as well. They never joined the century. They never joined the euro. They still had the sterling.
Pound sterling, yes.
Pound sterling as their currency. They didn't feel...
Thank God.
You see, the thing is, the important thing is... But look, you say thank God, but see how it's crashed since Brexit was announced. But, and no rallying for 2 years. However, pound sterling was a very original currency, a currency of the crown, a currency of pomp and splendor, and so on and so forth. But the question is, if you're leaving, if you felt it's time to leave, you should leave with no regrets.
Right.
But why is it that you want to say that, okay, we'll be in the customs union, but no free movements of goods, but no free movement of people? You see, so it's different. Well, we are an island away from mainland Europe, I concede that.
True, but we are still part of Europe.
We still, when we would be referred to in geography, we'll be a part of Europe. This is the Europe, that's Asia, that's North America, that's South America. True. There are many nations and all that. But you know, today the world knows something no longer as an English brand or a British brand, more of a European brand that goes to the world. And where we as consumers in UK, there's hardly an item which doesn't have some European blending. So as a result, you want the good part to stay, but you won't take the burden of the other part.
Well, again, see, you mentioned islands. See, this is an island. It can take only that much of people. See.
Yes.
But I do not know. Probably we appear very, very attractive for people who are living in other countries. That a lot of people want to come over to England or say UK, rather than they would remain in France or Belgium or Holland or Germany or even Greece and Spain. See, so when we agree to that, then that will be another problem. But right now we have to take a break.
Yes.
Not from Brexit, but
from the program for a moment. Yes.
Thank you for being with us. We have to take this very short break. Don't go away. We'll be back soon.